the limitation of view child is it can view only the first placement of the component on a parent component. So it can see only one. Like what if I have, then the limitation of view child is it cannot access these two. Now to overcome this limitation, we need to use view children. View children along with query list. Now to explain query list is a list of components from the DOM which needs to be converted to an array and can be used using the for each method. So view child, and I say component 2 and component 2 ref colon, you say query list and take it from Angular. Down below you see it is Angular core source and just the suitable one, query list, and in Angular brackets say component 2, the child component, and in the same ng after view init say this dot component 2 reference dot for each, we can directly use for each, and you say element and console log element. Now if I save this and you see the output, we have component 2 coming 3 times, and to get the value you can say dot, see these are the properties you see in component 2 prop ng on it, and I get the save. Now if I save it, I get component 2 property 3 times, and I'm able to access that from component 1. So this is how you can interact or communicate between two components using view child and view children. So we have been using custom components in this way, like you have the selector as an HTML tag and the component is rendered at this particular location. Have you ever thought like a p tag has something in between which is displayed as a para tag on the DOM? Similar to that, if I say a h1 and I say heading, I save it, and you see the heading tag. Similar to that, if I say some content between custom tags, what do you expect? Will this come as it is? You see it anywhere? Parent component, heading, child component, component 2 property? No, this has not come. Now to render this on screen, Angular gives something called as ng content, and that you need to place in the component 2. So you come into component 2 and you say ng content and then save it. Now see the output. You see some content between custom tags. So the ng content, with that we can grab the content between the opening and closing tag of the component element and project it somewhere inside of the template. Content projection is a way, this particular thing, the one that I've just done, is called as content projection, and it is a way to import HTML content from outside the component and insert that content into the components template in a designated spot, and this is also called as transclusion. So we saw how to get this particular content that is being projected in between the custom tag. Now how do we do the same if we have something like this, app dash component 3? So now we do not have component 3. If I save it, we'll end up with an error. Let's create a component with name component 3. All these are missing in component 2. Okay, so on changes I need to, let's see, and component 1, it says after view in it, and save it. Okay, now I'm done with this. Now I was saying about creating component 3. I come into source, app, component, and here I say ng generate component 3. So we have our component 3 got generated. Now I can save it and I'll save it, and let's see, we have component 3 works. Okay, so this is being rendered because I have ng content. If I remove ng content, you don't see component 3 works. I'll just comment this out and save it, and you see component 3 works is no more available. So it's the same thing. Now how do I access this particular component in a TypeScript file? Let me open component 3 HTML and TypeScript as well, component 3 HTML and TypeScript also, and then I'll open them after this one, component 2, component 3 HTML and component 3 TypeScript, and in component 3 I'll have component 3 property of type string that holds values like component 3 value, and I'll save this. Now how do I get this particular property in TypeScript? And this is where we use @content child and a lifecycle hook, ng after content in it. So let me have @content child, and I'll say component what is the name, comp3 component, and reference comp3 ref of type component 3 component, and the lifecycle hook I mentioned is ng after lifecycle hook. Let us implement that after content init, and I need to implement that, and in this I'll say console log this dot the component 3 reference dot, you see, component 3 property, and save it. Now see, you see component 3 value. You are now able to refer component 3 value in component 2. Component 2 prints component 3 value, and that's possible, or this is the case when you have a component, a custom tag inside another custom tag. So you come into the TypeScript of this component and then you can access the properties of this component using content child. Again, if they are multiple, we go for content children. In the next session we'll see the usage of content children. So when it is view child, we had a limitation wherein we are able to see only one availability of custom component. The same is the case with content child. If we have something like this, then this, to access all these three, we need content children. We'll comment this and say content children, and content children will have component 3 ref reference, and then we say query list. Make sure you get it from Angular core, query list, and then component 3. And in the same lifecycle hook, we say this dot component 3 ref dot for each. The element we get, we simply console log it. And let me save this and also this one. Now if you see the output, it's only for one. I'll save this again. You see 3 times. And if you say element dot, you get component 3. Save it again. So you see 3 times. So content child or content children, view child and view children are almost the same. Thing is, like, to access a custom component that is being projected as a content or a part of custom component, custom tag, we use content child and content children. And if at all you want to view the custom component which is on HTML or on the parent component, to access this we use view child. And view child has other usage like query selector, wherein we can directly access HTML elements. The way we are able to access custom components, we can access HTML elements using view child. That we'll see in DOM. Thank you.